You're listening to the Option Alpha podcast from optionalpha.com, where we show you how to make smarter trades, learn how the stock market really works, and generate consistent monthly income. Now, your host and head trader at optionalpha.com, Kirk Duplessis.
Hey everyone, this is Kirk here again from optionalpha.com, working every single week to make this the most popular investing podcast offered online because it's based on one thing and one thing only, and that's helping you make smarter trades. So thank you so much again for tuning in today. And although I would love to say that we are really kind of launching this new tracks program, which is basically what this podcast is about, the reality is that it's actually been in place for about 2 or 3 months now. We're just actually getting to a podcast where we actually wanted to talk about it. We had other things that we wanted to talk about, or I wanted to talk about that came up first. But I am happy to, officially announce on the podcast that we did go ahead and go through everything that we learned inside of the 1,378 survey responses and 68 one-on-one member interviews that we talked about in show number 43. And basically, for those of you who didn't go back and listen to that show, we sent out a survey, got all these responses, interviewed people one-on-one, and basically asked questions like, what do you need help with? Like, what's the biggest challenge? What's the one thing that you don't know? Where do you want to go? Where are you at right now? All of this stuff around options trading and, making money with options. And we redid all of our videos into these new tracks. Now, it's not that we took this video and then just moved it to a different location. That's not it at all. I went back through and completely re-outlined the entire program for Option Alpha into 3 distinct buckets or tracks. And so those are, again, 100% free. Nobody else does this online. Nobody else comes close to doing it as well as we do it here at Option Alpha, in my opinion. And so we went back through, we redid it based on all of the responses that we got from people. And I'm talking 20, 30 pages of, sometimes responses from people in total that we got with so much information about what you guys needed to learn, what was still the stumbling block, what we hadn't addressed yet in the time that we've had Option Alpha. And so it's something I've wanted to do for a long time. Again, I spent a lot of time just going back through and redoing these into these 3 buckets or tracks. And so I want to talk about those today. Now, everything is guided at your own pace. So it's all free and available, but don't misunderstand that as being non-valuable. We've had people that have come through here. Even recently, I just talked to a guy who has got about $10 million, and he said he's listened to everybody out there, every big name, every broker. He said our stuff is by far the most logical, valuable stuff he's ever been through, and it's 100% free. And that's how I want it. That's how I've wanted it from day one, is to be the most valuable person out there so that you get everything that we have, our best training, for free. And then if you want to upgrade, because there's no big push to do it, if you want to upgrade and get our trading alerts and portfolio access, you can, but you don't need to learn how to do this stuff right. And so my goal in doing these tracks was to literally take you from nothing to advanced trader in that course of, or over this time period. So we basically separate out everything into 3 main buckets or tracks. Now we just name them beginner, intermediate, advanced, but I want to talk about a little bit more about what they are, because if you haven't taken them, or if you have already taken one but not the other, it's probably important that you go back through and understand what they all have. So beginner track number 1 is basically taking you from newbie to understanding a lot about options. And there's never anything that we can, do in one entire track so you understand everything about options, but it's basically taking you from I know nothing about options, what an option contract is, what a call is, what a put is, all the way to having a pretty serious understanding of what options are, how they're priced, expiration periods, option pricing tables, where are edges, small account strategies, multi-leg strategies, our edge, technical analysis, kind of like the big stones. So we're taking care of the big building blocks first and laying a massive, massive foundation for you. As you progress from track 1, track number 2 is where we are finding that most people are at. So when we go through and analyze kind of the activity on our website, we see that most people are in track number 2, which is a little bit about options, but you are not quite, or you don't think that you're an advanced trader yet, or kind of in this intermediary stage. Now, track number 2 was specifically designed for people to make you, or from getting you from being aware of the concepts to all the way to the ability to enter a trade. Okay, so I'll say that again because I think I said it a little bit backwards. It may have been confusing. Track number 2 is getting you from awareness to actually entering a trade. So if you are in that intermediary stage where you know about options, but maybe you've made a couple trades already, but you don't know if you're making the right trades, you need help scanning for trades, choosing a strategy, pricing the trade, all of that other stuff. That is what track number 2 is. And it goes through things like historical implied volatility versus implied volatility, or historical volatility versus implied volatility, targeting a portfolio return, answering the question, how much money can you make trading options? Predicting the market direction, trade size and capital, scanning for the best setups, choosing the best strategy, how far out should you place a trade, what strike price is, what price, how do I get filled? Are there any tips on getting filled? How to use contingent orders? I mean, everything is in track 2. And again, this is all based on what you guys have asked for previously in the past. So track number 2 gets you all the way up to placing a trade. And for me, I wanted to have this mental break in the way that our education was laid out so that I could easily direct people in the future to say, hey, look, if you go through track 2, you're going to be able to start placing trades. And then after that, we went to track number 3. Now, track number 3 is the advanced track, and that's really for serious traders. I suggest that you don't even glance at track 3 until you've gone all the way through track number 2, which is intermediate. But track number 3 takes everything from trade entry. So it's a very logical, or at least in my mind, a very logical distinction or line that we've drawn in the sand, that track number 3 is everything that happens beyond when a trade actually gets placed. So it talks about things like, how to adjust and hedge trades, how to exit trades automatically, how to set stop losses, how to set trade triggers, knowing when to adjust portfolio balance, rolling trades for duration, the expiration week checklist, dealing with stock assignment and dividends, freeing up cash and margin, and then running a professional trading business. So again, it takes you hopefully from entering the trade to everything else that should happen behind that. And that to me is more of the advanced stuff. If you can't get to entering the right trade first, everything else doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you enter expiration week. It doesn't matter what you do about rolling. It doesn't matter what you do about managing winners, because you have to enter the right trade first, which is why I wanted to make that distinction. So the key point here in today's show is please head back on over to Option Alpha. If you haven't already gone through these tracks, again, they're right listed in the top section of the navigation bar. They are front and foremost to everything that we're doing. They're completely free, and go through them and start working your way down the tracks. Start where you are and get engaged in this process, because I guarantee these things are completely different than anything else that you've seen us do before. We still have our video tutorials, which have our videos that everyone else has loved for a long time, but these are all new, more expanded, more detailed than ever before. Now, a couple quick comments about these tracks and maybe some information on how you can learn best. The first thing that you have to understand is that you don't want to Netflix watch these tracks. And what I mean by that is you don't want to binge watch these videos because they're a little bit longer in nature. Each track has 15 videos. I think one track has 14 videos. The rest have 15 videos. But you don't want to binge watch these because some are 45 minutes, some are 20 minutes, some are almost an hour. You want to watch them in stages or chunks because you want to retain the information. There's no way on earth that you're going to learn everything about options trading by going through and binge watching the entire thing, right? That's like you can't learn Spanish or French or Chinese by binge watching a lot of videos. It takes time. It takes, repetition. So go through and watch, one video a day. That's what I tell people all the time is 30 minutes a day is all it takes to continue to build this momentum in your options trading. So 4 other things I want you to focus on as you're going through the tracks. Number 1, start where you are. So don't assume that you can kind of leap forward. Really make sure you understand your foundation here as you start going through these new courses. And I encourage you actually maybe even to go back a step and say, hey, look, I think I know about that, but let's just double check, right? So if you think you know about option Greeks, okay, maybe just double check and make sure that you really do know what you need to know about option Greeks, because I won't sugarcoat it. I'm not going to give you a lot of fluff. I'm going to tell you exactly how it is, tell you what we use, what we don't use, what you should focus on and what you shouldn't. Number 2 is take notes. A lot of studies have shown that this increases your retention by up to 64% versus just watching or listening. So as you're going through here, even if you're just taking notes of the bullet points, take notes because it increases the retention that you have. Number 3 is answer questions for others. So it's great if you ask questions, and a lot of people have already asked questions as they go through our tracks. But if you can answer questions for other people, it then reinforces that knowledge in your own mind and in your own head and helps you get to where you want to go even faster. So the people that I've seen have been really successful, not only in going through these tracks, but also in our Pro and Elite Forum, are the people who are actively helping other traders by answering questions on things that they know, right? If they don't know, they're not going to say anything. But if they know what the right answer is or what, the person should be doing, they're telling them. And that helps. And that also helps build this community that we're trying to grow here and foster. And number 4 is trade alongside the tracks. I don't think that options trading is something that you can learn in one single sitting and then go trade and never come back, right? That's not, and I don't think anything is like that in life that you learn. So my inspiration to you, or my suggestion to you, is to go ahead and start going through these tracks and start making small trades along the way, especially in track number 2, where we teach you how to find trades and how to enter trades. Enter a couple trades, even if it's on a paper account or whatever the case is. Enter a couple trades. And then as you start going through track 3, where you start learning how to manage and adjust them, now you have some real examples, some real trades that you can work on to start figuring out how to manage, adjust, exit, whatever you want to call it, for those trades. And it helps, again, reinforce the ideas and the knowledge and everything that you're learning about trading by trading alongside the tracks. So I highly encourage you to do that as you start going through these. As always, I hope you guys enjoy these. Like I said, this isn't necessarily a long podcast to launch this because it's already been out there, but I do want to spotlight this and highlight this, which is why I did this show, because it's definitely something that we worked really hard on. The feedback that we've gotten in the last couple of months has been insane from people on how helpful and valuable these tracks have been. And again, they're 100% free. So send them to your friends, a coworker, a family member, somebody who you know might be interested in options trading, or even somebody who's not even heard of options trading, because we literally start you from the beginning where you don't know anything and you just know about the stock market and stock trading. And we work you all the way through. And so I think it's going to be a really, really cool tool for you in the future. I really, really hope to get a lot of feedback from this. So if you liked the tracks or are enjoying them, if you go through them after listening to this podcast episode, please head on over to optionalpha.com/show57. That's the show notes page for this episode. Again, that's optionalpha.com/show57, and leave me a message or a comment in the comment box below. I'd love to know what you think about these. And of course, on the show notes page, we'll have links to all the tracks and everything in there, as well as some other stuff like some of the live trading that we've been doing recently and kind of recording our screen. All of that stuff will be in the show notes page for you guys so that you have access to it. Again, 100% free. You just have to sign up for a free membership at Option Alpha. No credit card required, no crazy expiration dates. Everything's free and available. You can consume the content as much as possible for as long as you want, totally free.
Now, the closing bell. Find out which stocks we're looking at right now, trades we're making, and hear our game plan moving forward.
All right, so in today's closing bell segment, I actually want to come back around to a trade that we talked about on another closing bell segment. That was entering a trade in MON. So a couple weeks back, we entered a trade in MON, which is Monsanto, and we had sold at pretty tight, but still pretty big iron condor in MON. We collected about $910 in premium for this iron condor, and now we're a couple weeks later, and I think it'd be cool just to kind of recap that, because now we just went ahead and closed out of this position and then sent it out to all of our members. But it's been now, I think, about 4 weeks now that we've been in this position, or about 3.5 weeks that we've been in this position. And when we entered the trade originally, implied volatility was around the 100th percentile in MON. And so we entered this trade. It was beyond earnings. We didn't have to worry about the earnings event happening. And so we thought that we were, kind of in the clear here for a good drop in implied volatility. And we did get that. We actually got a pretty good drop in implied volatility. Right now, at the time of this recording, it's down to the 57th percentile. So it's almost been cut in half, which is really good because that's what's allowed some of this option premium to come out of the position. But the reason that we're getting out of it now is because Monsanto has just received a bid for $125 a share, which the stock actually hasn't moved up too much just yet on that bid. I think there's a little bit of hesitation from investors that it actually might go through, even though it's a legitimate bid for the company. And so on that news, we don't want to be put in a situation where we're, kind of rolling the dice here to see if the bid goes through or not. We'd rather take the money off the table and, bank what we can bank. So today, earlier on, we went ahead and closed out just the inside legs of that iron condor. And if you remember, that's the 105 call and the 100 put. We went ahead and closed out of those legs and bought those back for a $675 debit. And when we did that, that basically created a nice little profit of $235. We actually also recorded our screen when we went ahead and did this. And so again, that will be linked up in the show notes page so you can see exactly what I did. I went ahead and recorded my screen as I was doing it live real time so you can see everything, no paper money or anything. But we went ahead and recorded our screen so you can see the actual trade execution and how we did it live on screen. And again, it just takes in a nice little profit. In this case, what we're doing here with Monsanto is we are leaving on the long legs. These were the legs that were far out of the money. They were very cheap to buy. They're not worth a lot of money right now. They're worth about $30. But given that one of those legs is the 125 call for August, if there is some momentum that starts building in the stock where people start thinking that the stock may rise up to that bid price, then those 125 call options are going to increase exponentially in value. So I think the risk reward here is pretty good to leave at least those call options on. Again, they're worth about $30 right now. So it's not like we're going to lose a lot of money. If they expire worthless, we'll be out $30. But since we know there's an active bid for the company, it's not just speculation. I think that, again, it's a good opportunity to potentially increase the reward and profit from this trade a little bit more in this situation. So a little bit rare situation, which is why I want to talk about it here on the podcast. Plus, we had talked about the entry trade in one of our closing bell segments before. As always, if you guys are interested in getting these trading alerts before they go out on the podcast, which usually happens after they go out to our members, check out our pro membership. You can just go to optionalpha.com/upgrade. Again, that's optionalpha.com/upgrade.
Thanks for listening to the Option Alpha podcast. If you liked what you heard, please drop by iTunes and leave a rating or comment. Plus, you can get everything: free email updates for future shows, transcripts, video tutorials, case studies, and more. Just visit our website at optionalpha.com.
Now, I truly hope you enjoyed today's show and again, got at least one thing out of it that you can apply right now to make you a smarter, more profitable trader and investor. As always, you can get additional resources and links to the new tracks and related video training from today's show by going to optionalpha.com/show57. Again, that's optionalpha.com/show57. And of course, if you like today's show, if you think that it's been helpful and valuable, please head on over to iTunes or Google Play and give us a review or rating. It's honestly the best way to get the show into the hands of those who need it most, and I would be extremely grateful. Finally, you can get today's freebie, something that we talked about a number of times, and a lot of people have started downloading this. I think yesterday, almost 200 people downloaded this freebie. It's our ultimate strategy guide. It's 90 pages expanded, and it has one-page step-by-step checklist for each individual strategy that you might be trading. So if you're interested in trading an iron condor, we've got a one-page checklist that tells you exactly how to trade it, how far out to go in time, when to get out of the trade to maximize profits, whether to use a stop loss or not. The whole deal, it's all in there. Again, completely free for you. So you just want to go to optionalpha.com/ebook. That's optionalpha.com/ebook. Until next time, happy trading.